Drip, drip, drip. You know that sound, right? It's one of the most maddening sounds in a home, that slow, steady drop of water from your bathtub spout. It might seem like a tiny little thing, but it's often a sign of a much bigger issue. Today, we're going to tackle it head-on.
You might think, oh, it's just a minor irritation, something you can just tune out. But what if I told you that sound is actually your money and a whole lot of a precious resource, literally just going right down the drain?
That's right. A single, small drip from one faucet can waste hundreds of gallons of water every single year. Think about that. That has a huge impact on your utility bill and on the environment. But hey, don't worry. This is a totally solvable problem.
Okay, so let's start by really understanding the problem. That drip, it's way more than just a noise. It's a signal. Your plumbing is trying to tell you something.
Essentially, what your faucet is saying is that one of its internal parts is just, well, it's worn out. It could be a simple little rubber seal that's gotten old, or it could be the main mechanism inside, called a cartridge, that's finally given up. The good news? These are almost always fixable mechanical issues.
So how do we play detective and figure out exactly what's wrong? Well, the very first step is to identify what kind of faucet you're even working with. That's what's going to help us start our diagnosis.
Go on, take a look at your tub. What do you have? Is it two separate handles, one for hot and one for cold? Or maybe a single lever that does the whole shebang? Or is it one of those combination units with a diverter that sends water up to the shower head? Knowing this is absolutely crucial because it points us directly to the most likely culprit.
Now, for those older two-handle faucets, a worn-out O-ring is a prime suspect. It's this tiny, simple rubber part that does a massive job, and when it fails, you get that constant drip. The great thing is, it's one of the easiest parts to fix.
For the more modern single-handled faucets, the heart of the whole operation is this thing, the cartridge. It's a self-contained little valve that controls everything. Over time, the seals inside can wear out, and the whole unit just needs to be replaced. I know it sounds complex, but it's often a really simple swap-out job.
All right, now that we know the likely causes, let's talk about the solution. You might be thinking this is a job for a professional, but you know what? For a lot of these issues, you can absolutely do it yourself.
And the great thing is, you don't need a truck full of specialized equipment for this repair. A lot of the time, all it takes are a few basic hand tools you probably already have, the right replacement part, and, a little bit of confidence.
Okay, before you even think about touching that faucet with a wrench, these 3 steps are non-negotiable. Seriously. First and foremost, always turn off the water supply. This is, without a doubt, the single most important step to prevent a small drip from turning into a major flood.
This brings us to the big question. You've diagnosed the problem, you've got your tools ready, but should you actually do it yourself, or is it time to pick up the phone and call a licensed plumber?
Look, the DIY route is incredibly cost-effective for these simple fixes. But if you're dealing with really old plumbing or a problem you can't quite figure out, a professional brings expertise and insurance to the table, which can save you a much bigger headache later on.
Let's just focus on that cost for a second. We are talking about the price of maybe a couple of coffees to fix a problem that's wasting hundreds of gallons of water. The parts for a simple O-ring or a new cartridge are super affordable.
Now, compare that to the cost of bringing in a pro. For a standard repair, you're definitely looking at a much higher price tag. Of course, what you're paying for is their expertise, their time, and that peace of mind, which, let's be honest, is sometimes exactly what you need.
So, when is it time to make that call? Well, if you've tried a fix and it's still dripping, or if that faucet looks like it's from another century and is all corroded, it's probably best to step back. And this is a big one. If you see any signs of water damage on the wall itself, that's an immediate stop sign. A pro can diagnose hidden issues that you just can't see.
So after all this, what's the most important thing to remember about that annoying drip? Let's bring it all together.
The source material for this really says it all with this quote. This isn't some permanent problem you have to live with forever. It's a challenge, but it has a clear solution. By fixing it, you're not just getting rid of a noise, you're conserving water, cutting down your bills, and taking control of your own home maintenance.
With the right parts and just a little bit of patience, you can silence that drip for good and protect your home from any more wear and tear. The only question left is, are you ready to take it on?